Well, happy fall, everyone. Fall is bikepacking season for me. It's where the weather finally cools off and we can get out and enjoy the beautiful fall weather. So I'm doing a one-nighter. This is how you do bikepacking adventures with a full-time job and a family. Sometimes you take what you can get and just head out for an overnighter. So last time I did this, I did a long ride on Saturday and then came back on Sunday morning, a little shorter ride. I'm doing the opposite this time. So I'm doing my short ride on Friday. So I just got off work a couple hours early and then I'm heading out it's only like a 20-mile ride today, going out to a Hipcamp, and then I will do my long ride on Saturday, somewhere around 60 miles. And one of the great things about doing these short trips is you can wait till the weather's going to be really nice, which today, man, it is just spectacular. Normally the humidity levels are really high in the summer, and then in the fall it just gets great. So today was a 32% humidity day. That's low for here. So, and it's supposed to get down like the mid-50s tonight. Right now it's like 78 or 80. So it's pretty warm, but it's gonna be really nice tonight. I'm riding my gravel bike on this one. Last time I did my hardtail. So when I get to the camp tonight, I'll show my setup. I'm also trying a new tent. I'll do a little review on it. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good bike packing tent. I normally hammock camp, and I try to hammock camp whenever I can, but sometimes you just don't know if you're going to have trees. I think there's trees at this site, but I really want to just test this tent out and get it dialed. So I'm heading west to head out to the Hipcamp, and the wind's out of the east, pretty strong. These saddlebags, it's like having sails on the bike. I'm rolling like 21, 22 miles an hour, fully loaded down. I'm going to be heading primarily east tomorrow, so I hope the wind is not like this tomorrow. It's going to be a long day. Coming through the town of High Springs and going to be heading towards the town of Fort White. This is not easy to do with one hand, by the way. A loaded down bike. It's a cool gravel road. I like this one. Short, but it's a nice little cut through. Get behind the town here. All right, I just got to the Hipcamp. This is a good one. I just found out about Hipcamp less than a year ago, and it is so cool. So the last time I did this, I was on the same property, but quite a ways away. This is a huge piece of property these people own. I see a huge flock of turkey over there. There's about 15 of them. So this is hundreds and hundreds of acres. So it's kind of like you go to the house, and then since I've never been to this one, I didn't know where it was, so I had to follow her, and it was a mile and a half to get back here. So I was just following her car back to the Hipcamp, and I'll kind of point the camera that way and show you this field, and then I'm going to show you my bike setup. Every time I do this, I get the bike more and more dialed in. I'm still fairly new to bike packing, so when I first started out, my bike was so loaded down. That's the way it goes, right? Backpacking, bike packing, you just start off bringing way too much gear, and then you just pare it down to the essentials, get some lighter stuff, smaller stuff. You know, I've made some investment in smaller stoves and pots and all that, so I've got it pretty dialed. But this Hipcamp, I'm going to point the camera around, so I've got this whole field to myself. Before I show the bike setup, I'll show you this little area back in here. There's a big tree right here that fell during the hurricanes. You've got a little sinkhole. Now there's no water down here. The last time I did this, the last campsite had a cave with a spring inside, and I could filter water. I did bring my water filter. Ended up forgetting one of my water bottles. I meant to bring 3 and only have 2. So I filled up when I got to that person's house before I came back here. But yeah, this has some great trees for hammock camping. I'll probably pitch my tent out by that picnic table. It's just nice to have a place to put your gear. Here's the bike setup. So it is my gravel bike, my 9er alloy gravel bike. This is the one that I got for bike packing and for having on my trainer, and then just as a backup gravel bike. But man, I was like really, really impressed with how well this bike rode. Also helped that I had a massive tailwind, but still, this bike was really smooth. I've got a new bag. I'm going to do a whole separate review on this trip Probably do it in the morning before I get going on this bag. This is the Ortlieb dry bag. So I'm using these gravel packs, really like these. They come on and off the bike in seconds. And I've got this bag up front. This thing holds a lot. Now I still haven't like fully decided if I'm going to use mainly a hardtail or a gravel bike. I like the idea of the hardtail because just you can go more places. But the truth of the matter is I end up on paved roads or gravel roads most of the time. Try to stick to gravel. But one thing I like about this is once you kind of open it up, like especially if you don't have a picnic table, you do have a place to like kind of just drop stuff in while you're at the campsite. So that's really nice. But yeah, that's the setup. The alloy niner, and man, it's great. And of course, I've got the fork pack, so I could really load this thing down and put the fork packs on here if I wanted to. I like forcing myself to not have as many bags because it makes me not carry as much stuff and keep the bike lighter. So, all right, I am going to change clothes and do my review of the tent, just show that separate video, and then make some dinner. So got the campsite all set up, all my stuff spread out on the picnic table. I just can't tell you like how great it is to have a picnic table at a campsite like this for bike packing. I just did my review of this tent, at least the initial part. I'll pick that one back up when I wake up. And I brought my chair. Man, like the chair, even with a picnic table, having this chair is so nice. It packs up so small and it's incredibly light. This is the Helinox chair. I mean, like if you've ever backpacked and you didn't bring a chair, you know what I'm talking about. It's the luxury item that you have to have. All right, I'm gonna read for a little bit and then I'm gonna make my dinner, which is going to be Thai red curry. I love these camp meals. They're not cheap, but nothing's cheap today. I think it was like $13. There's my pot, got my stove. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I've really lightened up. Like I had a bigger stove, I had a bigger pot. Now I just have the one to heat up the water and then just add it to my oatmeal or add it to the camp meal. All right, it is time to read, eat, and go to bed. See you in the morning. And the morning begins. That was not my best night's sleep. I am so used to sleeping in a hammock. I tent camped when we did a bike trip this summer and it was fine, but it was so like, if you can see the fog on the ground, it got so damp that I actually got chilled. Even though like it didn't get that cold, low 50s, I got a little cold. I should have brought my down top quilt. The top quilt that I have is rated to like 35 degrees, but man, I always have to add like seriously like 20 degrees to a rating because of the humidity here. It's 98% humidity, but it's supposed to drop a lot when the sun comes up, which is another 15 minutes. But I did stay in bed a long time. I usually get up like 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning. Just that's when my body wakes me up. But I just kept dozing on and off, so that was nice. But man, I was hoping we didn't hit the dew point last night, but we did, and everything's soaked. Tent soaked inside, outside. Man, that's why another reason why I love hammock camping. Like you put that tarp way up there and all your condensation doesn't get all over. Hammock's wide open. So yeah, hammock camp whenever possible. That's the lesson here. That was a good tent. Like it's a great tent and I did a separate review like I mentioned on that tent for what it is, for the weight, for bike packing. If you have to sleep in a tent, it's a good tent. It's just I like sleeping in a hammock. All right, I'm gonna get some oatmeal going here. And here comes the sun. I've got to decide if I'm gonna leave soon and ride over this grass or maybe wait a little bit and see if the sun can burn off some of the dew. The grass is absolutely drenched in dew. I've got to ride through this field and then on a sandy road to get back to like the paved road to the gravel, and that's just like the worst combination. Campsite is packed up and we are ready to roll. Got about 60 miles today. Gonna head across the field. It's dried up some, so shouldn't be as bad as if I were to leave an hour ago. I waited a long time. It's 9:40. I thought I would be out of here by like 8 or 8:30. Oh well, it's a beautiful day. First order of business is to get water from this pump. This is a farmhouse that's being renovated, so nobody's here. So I'm gonna filter it just because I just don't know 100%. And here's my solution for forgetting one of my water bottles. I just strapped out on the back, so I'll just, an hour or so, fill up one of my water bottles. Having a great ride so far. We are about 13 miles in, and weather's just perfect, except there is a really big tailwind or headwind for most of this ride. I had a tailwind in the beginning because I backtracked just a little bit to get on some gravel roads, and then gonna have a headwind pretty much all the way back home. But I don't care. If I have to ride slower, it means I'm just out in this weather longer. There is a ton of gravel roads back home. I only had to do a little bit of pavement from the campsite after I got on the main road, just about a mile or two, and then it is tons and tons of beautiful gravel roads. I'm using my Edge 850 for this one. I was going to use the 1050 to navigate, but it hit the bag. So the 850 is still fine. I mean, you can see it's totally fine to see the map, which is really all I need. It's just to see which way to go. I don't ride these roads very often, so having a navigation system is vital. But that's what I love about gravel, just sitting down at the computer, planning out a route, and not having to worry about it and stop and look at a map. Just follow your Garmin. It's awesome, love it. Coming through High Springs, there was a car show going on. I'll show it right here. I couldn't play the audio from it because they were blasting Van Halen, and that would cause copyright infringements on my YouTube video, but a lot of cars. They do this, I think, every year. So coming through High Springs means that I'm about 10 to 12 miles from my house. It's been a great ride. Beautiful day, a lot of wind, but not all headwind. It was crossing head for the most part, but I did have some tailwind at times, so all good. In fact, I think I've got a tailwind kind of back to the house at this point, so. And back home in the garage. That's how you have a bikepacking adventure with a full-time job and a lot of responsibilities, which probably most people watching this video fall into that category. Now, I still do trips, but it's just so fun to get out on these one-night trips, hitting it when the weather's good, when the weather's amazing, and having a blast. So hope you enjoyed the video. Now it's time to get stuff done around the house. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.